Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to episode 25, season 2 of the Weekly Gridiron podcast. As always, we are your hosts, Adam,
Dante.
And Luke.
and we're happy to bring you our official 2024 NFL draft recap, summary, whatever you want to call it. Just going to go into detail, talk about our favorite picks, what our teams did, maybe clown some teams that didn't do that good of a job. One team in particular in Atlanta.
Why? What do they do?
I wonder.
Just took their backup quarterback in 8.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they're preparing for the future. Can't blame them, I guess.
4 years ahead. He'll be 27.
Everybody loves a 28-year-old rookie.
Yes.
25-year-old rookie didn't work out too well for us, but
Yeah, well.
we won't talk about him anymore.
Is that how old Kenny was?
24, 25, whenever we drafted him. Old ass, yeah.
Well, this is our draft recap episode, which makes the George Pickens background on Dante's screen fitting.
Let's see what else I got in here.
Yeah.
We tried to toy with backgrounds. There's Justin Fields. It just wouldn't work because two people are in the picture.
No,
No.
keep GP. Hell yeah.
And I think we were all happy with our
receivers?
drafts.
Yeah, I was pretty happy.
Train up in the first round, Adam.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that.
That was incredible. So who wants to start?
Well, I don't want
Luke, you had the first pick, so
Yeah, I was going to say, I will just step forward since we had the third overall pick.
Yeah, go for it.
If you watched our mock draft episode, you know that I said that I think the Commanders will take May, and I think we'll be stuck with McCarthy. Thank God that did not happen. The Commanders, they did not take May. They took Daniels, which is fine. I'm sure it'll work fine for them. But we got Drake May. A long period of worrying that we were just going to screw it up is now over. And thank God. I really was worried for a second there that not that it wasn't time to move on from Bill Belichick. I might have said something like this, but that Robert Kraft was really the one that was making the bad decisions all along. So I was just as worried that he would take McCarthy or something. And I knew Elliott Wolf supposedly loved McCarthy, but he crushed this draft, starting with this pick. Drake May is my quarterback, and I could not be more excited. My jersey is already ordered.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Can I interrupt you real quick, Luke? We have breaking news. Dante, did you see the Steelers have signed a wide receiver?
Is it like a well-known guy?
I mean, I know who he is, but maybe not.
Is he like number 2? Can he be our number 2 receiver?
I wouldn't go that far.
Who is it?
Just a depth guy. It says former Falcons free agent. This is via Adam Schefter. Former Falcons free agent wide receiver Scotty Miller is reuniting with Steelers offensive coordinator Arthur Smith in Pittsburgh on a 1-year deal.
It's like, whoa, Scotty Miller, like he caught that pass from Brady against the Packers.
Yep.
Kalen, whoever it was. Damn, we got Scotty Miller. What the fuck?
It's not bad. Yeah.
I think you're thinking of Kevin King.
Kevin King. Not
Yeah.
Kevin King just got drafted. He's from Penn State.
Well, Kalen King's a Green Bay Packer too, so
Yeah, he is.
hopefully he's not as bad as Kevin King was.
He just got Roman Wilson 2.0, so
Scotty Miller's not bad.
yeah, he's not bad. I'll take it.
Yeah, you guys got GP, like you said, Wilson, which we'll get into, and then a bunch of good guys behind that can kind of fight for that third spot.
Van Jefferson, who isn't bad, I'll take him. But I really wish we would have got Tyler Boyd, but
especially for that price tag. 1 year, $4.5 million to Tennessee. That is a steal.
And if he didn't want to go, he didn't want to go. I mean, he's talked. Excuse my French. He's talked shit on the Steelers before, so I don't really care for
that.
Okay.
Anyway, Luke, you want to jump back into it?
I mean, are we just going over one team's drafts at a time, or like next pick in order?
I don't care. I mean,
it might be a much longer video if we go next pick in order. I can keep going over our drafts.
Just kind of go over all your picks.
And next couple of picks, I was happy with. Again, Jalen Polk. Maybe a bit of a reach at 37, but I don't mind it at all. I watched some of the tape. He looks great. He seems like a like a Drake May guy. I'm pretty sure they already had somewhat of a relationship because I'm pretty sure they were both committed and then decommitted to Alabama at one point, so they might have thrown it again. Yeah, but that seems great. Caden Wallace, that's exciting. We needed him. Layden Robinson, another good pick. Javon Baker, maybe my sneaky favorite pick of the draft. Again, a bit of a reach with the guys who are on the board. I don't care. As long as they're not busts, I don't care because there's bound to be some guys in front of them that are busts. And Javon Baker, what a personality. I mean, I will just repeat this quote for the podcast. For those who haven't heard it, a reporter, the second he got drafted, a reporter asked him what Patriots fans should expect. And he said, I might be paraphrasing, but I'm pretty sure this is what he said, word for word. He said, just make sure you come to the stadium and bring your popcorn because I make people in wheelchairs stand up. I just love it so much.
That's outstanding.
It's perfect. It's just the kind of guy we needed. It's just the kind of guy we haven't had in a long time.
Yeah.
And so now, instead of Juju, no disrespect, Kayshon Boutte, Tyquan Thornton, and Jalen Reagor at the top, we're looking at Kendrick Bourne, Jalen Polk, Javon Baker, and Demario Douglas. Such a night and day difference. As long as those guys can stay healthy, it actually finally has me pumped up.
Yeah.
You know, we finally aren't in the garbage in the wide receiver room, so that's exciting. And then our last couple of picks, Marcellus Dial, good pick, I guess. And at 193, Joe Milton, definitely interesting because four is a crowd. We now have to decide who's on the outs, either him or Bailey Zappi. And I mean, I guess I suppose that I would prefer Zappi to be on the outs, just because Joe Milton, that's an exciting name. He can throw the ball 80 yards, whatever he's gonna do. And I'm gonna play this video from some radio show after he was drafted. That pretty much perfectly describes the player he is. Hold on.
What
Once I
radio
can find
show
it.
is
I don't
this?
know. I just found it on Twitter. I still have it. Okay, I don't know if I still have it, but basically they said if you need somebody to throw the ball 80 yards, Joe Milton will throw the ball 80 yards. And if you need somebody to throw the ball 5 yards, Joe Milton will throw the ball 80 yards. That's just it's just funny. And I just like having exciting players in there for once. The wide receiver room of Mac Jones, Bailey Zappi, and Matt Corral to start the year last year did not foster excitement as much as Drake May, Jacoby Brissett, Joe Milton, and maybe Bailey Zappi. It's just exciting times finally, and I'm pleasantly surprised that it seems like we had a good draft. I won't go as far as to say we nailed the draft because we did reach in a couple places. And we took a couple players that I'm not sure will be great starters in the league, but they do fill positions of need. But that's important. We never filled positions of need before. Bill would just take defense, and didn't really bother to address some of the needs in the past couple years. So I'm excited about our draft. I'm happy about our draft. And I could not be more excited about Drake May.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm very excited.
You guys nailed that pick for
Yeah.
sure. And I mean, last year with Christian Gonzalez, this is back-to-back years of New England nailing their first round pick and Washington making a questionable decision right in front of you to really help you guys out.
I am now a Washington Commanders fan because last year they took Emmanuel Forbes right before Christian Gonzalez. And of course, this year they took Jaden Daniels over Drake May. And so they just keep gifting us these guys that we want. It's great.
Yeah.
And I was talking to Adam, I think, the other day. I'd even go as far as to say that if healthy, I think Christian Gonzalez will be our best player this year. Outside of maybe Mike Onwenu, but Christian Gonzalez, I think the sky isn't even the limit for him. He could be so good. He could be a top 5 corner in the next 2 years.
You think even better than Judon on defense?
Yeah, Judon's climbing up there in age a little bit, and he's had some health problems. I like him, but he's always just been a fringe top 10 edge. And I like him off the edge on the other side of Josh Uche, who I know I've probably mentioned that he resigned for super cheap, and so I'm super excited about that. So Judon should have a good year if he stays healthy, but he's always just been a top 10 fringe edge guy. But I like him too, and I'm just finally sort of excited for Patriots football.
Yeah. Nice.
Yep, I believe that the Steelers have the next first round pick in order of
They
us
did.
three.
Yeah.
Talk about your draft.
Yeah, for sure. So going into the first round, or this draft in general, um, the big like hole in our roster was our was guard and I mean not guard, tackle and center. And the Steelers definitely addressed that. And at pick 20, they went and got Troy Fautanu, my goat.
Great pick.
Yeah, this guy, he fell to us, which, you know, I'll definitely take, Though it does concern me that he fell a little bit. Then I researched and it's mainly due to his knee concerns because he did, you know, have some like knee injuries throughout college. But I was thinking, you know who else did? George Pickens, and he's been outstanding for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And
Yeah.
I think Fatanu, he's a little, he's a small, yeah, he's small in terms of being a tackle, but his arm length is perfect for it. And he was dominant at Washington. I could not be more happy with another Samoan player drafted in the first round named Troy. So
No kidding.
the
No.
track record. So
Yeah.
yeah, I was
Mm.
very happy with that. In second round, the Steelers got Zach Frazier.
Oh, you got these ready.
I do, yeah. Um, yeah, Frazier. Excuse me. During our second round pick, well, before we made it, um, whenever we were on the clock, I saw Zach Frazier and AD Mitchell were both on the board. And to be honest, I was kind of feeling AD Mitchell at the time because the Steelers still do need a wide receiver too, other than GP. Um, but our offensive line is stacked right now, and we obviously know what the game plan is going to be going into the year. It's
Yes.
ground and pound and play action on third down with Russ or Justin Fields, whoever's in at quarterback. Yeah, this is going to be a real run heavy team. So I'm fully with, bolstering the offensive line and really building a brick wall that Najee could run through or Jalen Warren can run through. Yeah, so I'm pretty happy with that. And then third round, Adam, I'm sure you'll be happy with this. Mr. Roman Wilson. Um, I'm cool, absolutely. I was cool drafting a wide receiver. Like I said, I wanted to do in the second round. However, I do wish we did draft like a more, a taller receiver, a more of a deep threat, like a guy like Troy Franklin from Oregon who was still on the board at that time. But I'm cool with Roman Wilson. He's a slot receiver, he's a competitor, and he has a for a small receiver, he has a large catch radius. He could go up and pretty much snag anything that's out there. So yeah, I'm pretty hyped about Roman Wilson.
He
What do you
definitely seems like a Mike Tomlin guy.
He does
Yeah.
seem like a Mike Tomlin
And
guy for sure.
I did see he had a pretty good senior bowl from what I heard.
He did. He did.
So that's a
He
good sign.
played I forget who he was going up against in the Senior Bowl. Maybe I think it was Kenyon Mitchell, who got drafted by the Eagles. I think they were going up against one another, and Wilson was just having a field day. So I'm pretty happy about that. Then lastly, our last, well, the last of the pictures that I have, the
Mhm.
last day two pick, a guy who fell and a guy who also had some knee injuries, doesn't have an ACL in one of his knees. Mr. Peyton
Nice.
Wilson, Luke Kuechly Jr. I cannot wait for him to line up right next to Patrick Queen. I think the Steelers have one of the best inside linebacker rooms in the I'll say in the AFC. Um, I'm very excited about this pick, and I think the Steelers defensively don't have many weaknesses, if any. Our front seven is absolutely stacked. You have Cam Hayward, and that goes without saying. You got Ogunjobi, who I love, and you got Keanu Benton, who's was a star last year, and obviously Watt and Highsmith on the outside. Then PQ, Patrick Queen, and now Peyton Wilson. Then with the secondary, JPJ, Action, Dante Jackson, who will be a beast. Then you have Minka and Deshaun Elliott at your safety, which Luke, I'm sure you're familiar with Deshaun Elliott whenever he was with the Dolphins. Pretty solid safety. Made a
Mm,
good play against Josh Allen in week
yes, yeah.
18. Made a good pick. So yeah, I'm really excited for this upcoming season. I think the Steelers absolutely nailed this draft. A+ on my end. So yeah,
And hey, if you don't have an ACL, you can't tear an ACL.
that's that is very true, you know. But
That's just math.
That is, yeah, that's just facts, you know.
I do agree. I really think the Steelers nailed this draft.
They seriously did.
I'd put them in the top 5 drafts probably this year.
Yeah, and it shows how bad Kevin Colbert was at drafting. I mean, outside of like a few picks, like um, obviously Najee, I was a big fan of, even though we declined his option, but we won't get into that. TJ Watt, obviously, at pick 30, even though that what he did fall to him. Um, yeah, I mean, but like if you look at these last 2 drafts by Omar Khan, you know, last year he absolutely went off. When got Broderick Jones, and I forget who we get in the second round last year.
JPJ.
JPJ, thank you. And then Keanu Benton also. Yeah, so Steelers absolutely having 2 back-to-back years with very, very solid drafts. So I could not be more excited.
Yeah, I just have to give credit to the Steelers where it's due because they're really going for it. I mean, the Steelers, all Pittsburgh sports teams really have a kind of a theme of just like if it's not broke, don't fix it.
Yeah.
But the Steelers, I, winning seasons is fine, but I really have to give them credit for addressing some areas where they could have improved and just really going for it. I mean, there's
Yeah.
no other way to say it.
Yeah. I finally feel like we're not being complacent or content, you know. We're actually trying to modernize our team and to, you know, um, evolve and adapt to the way the league is now. And whenever, you know, Ben was on the team, we ran the ball and ran very like surface level plays that most modern defenses won't, you know, fall for. You remember whenever our offensive line was so bad, Ben had to get it out in 0.2 seconds. That
Yeah.
was fun. Then with Kenny Pickett, I mean, in Matt Canada, that goes without saying. That was one of the worst things I've ever laid my eyes on. But if you would have told me last year that now we have Russell Wilson, Justin Fields, um, and a plethora of guys on the offense, I would be ecstatic. So yeah, this Steeler team is night and day than it was last year. And yeah, I think we're my just hope is win a playoff game. That's just my hope, and I think that is realistic. And when talking about the Steelers,
Definitely. I mean, I was going to say if last year's team was able to make the playoffs, this year's team definitely should be able to.
I think it all lies on Arthur Smith. If he could call a good offense, and our defense just does what our defense does, you know, I think this team can go places. Maybe not a Super Bowl, but definitely at least a playoff win.
Make a run, get to the divisional round.
That's all I want. I just want to witness a Steeler playoff win before I'm 40. That's all. So
You will.
Yeah, I think you'll be fine.
yeah.
All right. Shall I get into Carolina's draft? We
Yeah.
had 7 picks this year. Made a couple of trades. So we originally slated picks 33 and 39 in round 2. Then Dan Morgan decided, I want a first round pick. So he traded up one spot with Buffalo, who had pick 32 from Kansas City. They traded pick 33 and a 5th rounder to Buffalo for a 6th rounder and pick 32. They used pick 32 to select the guy I had mocked to us in our mock draft. And the guy I thought we'd get all along, Xavier Legette, wide receiver from South Carolina. Very happy with that pick. He is a deep threat. His accent is incredible, by the way.
I was about to say he post draft interviews, his was my favorite. He's gonna be an easy guy to root for. I already love him.
Oh, absolutely. Such a cool guy. And then going on 2nd round, we made 2 trades. We went down with the Rams, trading pick 39, which we got from the Giants originally for Brian Burns. Traded that for pick 52, pick 155, and a 2nd rounder in 2025, which is huge because Carolina did not have their 2nd round pick next year because it's the final piece from the Bryce Young, DJ Moore, Caleb Williams, that huge trade. So now we do have a 2nd round pick next year, which is very nice. They helped, I forget who LA selected with that pick. But then
somebody that they really didn't need to trade up for. That's all I remember.
You're right. Carolina went down to 52. And then we ended up moving back up to 46 with the Colts, or 42, excuse me. No, 46. 46. I must have wrote that wrong. And we gave the Colts pick 52, 142, and 155. So some of what we got from the Rams, we just flipped to the Colts, but we kept the second round pick in 2025. And with pick 46, we drafted running back out of Texas, Jonathan Brooks. He was the first running back to go off the board. If you remember, I had him mocked to Dallas at pick 24, just for a fun little surprise. But I think it's a great pick. I mean, our running back room is kind of questionable right now. Chuba Hubbard, I don't really think he's a long-term guy. Miles Sanders, probably not, and could potentially be a cut or trade candidate with his contract. We just signed Rashad Penny, but he's always injured, so I don't really know what to expect from that. We also have Raheem Blackshear, but I don't really think he's going to make much of an impact. So drafting Brooks is definitely a future move, but it's a good move because I think he's got a lot more RB1 upside than all the other guys in the running back room. So I'm very happy with that. Then moving on to round 3, we traded back in round 3 from pick 65 to 72 and also got pick number 157 with that. I really wanted us to draft Peyton Wilson. I know the Steelers got him. I know you're very happy with that, Dante.
Very happy.
Ended up going with a linebacker, Trevin Wallace from Kentucky, which is still fine with me. I would have preferred Peyton Wilson, but I'm still happy with that pick. I think Wallace is a beast, so that should work out for us. Then we kicked off day 3 with pick number 101 in round 4. Took tight end from Texas, Jatavion Sanders, which I've heard very good things about. It is no secret Carolina needs a tight end. Our tight ends right now are Tommy Tremble and Ian Thomas, and I guess Steven Sullivan, but he doesn't do very much. So we definitely needed a pass catching tight end because Tommy Tremble's more of a blocker. So I expect Sanders to make an impact this year, probably become our tight end 1. And I mean, you've seen in the past round 4 or 5 tight end draft picks seem to work out. Like I think George Kittle was a 5th round pick or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So that could potentially work out. And then our last 3 picks, I wasn't really familiar with any of them, but I've heard good things. Pick 157 in round 5. Apologies if I'm butchering this, but Chow Smith Wade, we took him from Washington State. He's a corner. I mean, we need extra corners right now. After trading Dante Jackson to the Steelers this year, which that helped you guys out, but we definitely needed the extra corners along with JC Horn and whoever else we got. And then the last 2 picks, I don't really know anything about, to be honest. Pick 200 in round 6, Jaden Cremady from Mississippi State, defensive tackle. And pick 240 in round 7, Michael Barrett, Michigan linebacker. There were so many Michigan players drafted this year. And I mean, I guess it was good to get one of them, even if it was in the 7th round. And then my favorite undrafted free agent Carolina signed. He is known as the thicker kicker. His name is Harrison Mevis. He went to Missouri. I remember this year in the Cotton Bowl Classic, Ohio State and Missouri played. And I watched the game and I saw that kicker and I was like, man, that guy is ginormous. And we ended up signing him as an undrafted free agent. He's 5'11", 243 pounds. That's just insane. Oh, wait. Was I right? 5'11"? I guess 5'11", yeah. But yeah, I mean, I love Eddie Pinheiro. If he has a down year, maybe this guy could become our future kicker. I don't really know. But that was Carolina's draft. I'm very happy with it. I think Dan Morgan did a good job in his first draft as Carolina GM. He's had a very good offseason, much better than you would have seen from Scott Fitterer or whoever else in the past. I'm very happy with it. I think Carolina's going in the right direction. I mean, we went 2-15 last year. It's hard to be worse or that exact record again. So I think we're trending upward. I'm not going to say we're a good team yet. I'm not even going to say we're like a 7-win team. If we can get like 4 or 5 wins next year and be competitive, like if you remember the Arizona Cardinals this year, they went 4-13, but they were competitive in a lot of those games. That's what I want to be like. And of course, above all, I want Bryce Young to have a good sophomore year. So that's my Panthers recap.
Nice.
Yeah, I think you guys did good.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy overall. I cannot complain. Got the receiver I wanted. good running back, good tight end. I guess what I didn't realize, the pick we traded to the Colts when we traded up ended up being A.D. Mitchell, but I mean, it's okay. I'm happy with Brooks. And I mean, that's my question. Why did A.D. Mitchell fall to 52? There had to be a reason. I mean,
I
we were
mean,
thinking first round pick for that guy.
yeah. I mean, if you look back, Pickens fell to I think like the exact same place, 52 or 53. Um, but some of those second round receivers, man, they could be their first round talents, but whenever the wide receiver class is so stacked.
Just look at the picture.
I know. I knew you. Whenever the wide receiver class is so stacked, these guys could fall. And anyway.
That's amazing.
Right.
But no, yeah, you're right. And this was a stacked receiver class. I mean, you had Marvin Harrison Jr. fourth overall. Who else? Rome Odunze ninth.
Neighbors.
Neighbors sixth. I skipped
Yeah.
Neighbors. Then you had Odunze. Then I think, was it until Xavier Worthy? Or am I missing someone?
It was until Xavier Worthy, yeah.
Which, thanks a lot, Buffalo, for letting the Chiefs get him. Like, that helps everybody.
In Buffalo, I do not see what they see in Keon Coleman. He's a
Yeah.
funny guy. I just, I don't know.
If I was Buffalo, I would have said Xavier Worthy's on the board. Yeah, absolutely. Stuck at 28 and took him, no question. And you could have given him to anybody, but you gave him to the Chiefs. You remember the last time you gave a player in the draft to the Chiefs? It was Patrick Mahomes, the guy who has sent you home 3 times in his career.
He lives in your nightmares. Yeah, it's just
Yes.
just doesn't work like that.
Now his quarterback wide receiver duo is going to live in Bills fans' nightmares. So,
Yeah.
man,
Did you guys see like videos of Malik Neighbors once he was drafted?
yeah.
A couple things. He was just clearly not very happy at all. Somebody asked him, "What do you make of Daniel Jones?" And he basically just said, I just want to get there first. I don't even want to comment on that."
I mean, who wouldn't be
And
happy to have
some of the
Daniel
things,
Jones?
I'm pretty sure not a single person has seen him smile since becoming a Giant.
I mean, I guess you can't blame him, but
Yeah,
well,
I mean, that would be like that might be the last place I would want to go if I were
Yeah, me too.
Oh man.
that or I guess Denver, which that was an interesting turn of events. I mean, we can get to Atlanta, but Denver ended up going with not Michael Penix, Bo Nix at number 12 overall.
That's such a reach. I'm sorry.
It is. But I guess they were worried that he was going to go off the board eventually and just wanted to secure their guy while they could.
A lot of Kenny Pickett vibes with Bo Nix.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, older quarterback has been in college for a while. I mean, what was it? What was the clip I saw the other day? Yeah. You want to know how long Bo Nix has been in college? I saw a clip the other day of a Bo Nix versus Justin Herbert game.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
Justin Herbert was in the 2020 draft.
let me also put something into perspective. Bo Nix, that's true, but what nobody talks about is I saw a highlight of Jaden Daniels throwing a touchdown to Brandon Ayuk to defeat Justin Herbert's Oregon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When
Yeah.
Daniels was in Arizona State.
Yeah.
I did see that,
So
yeah.
a couple of these guys, I mean, all
Yeah.
right. And I think Jaden Daniels is very talented, but you just have to be wary of guys that are already 23 or 24. Because sure they can get better, but probably not a ton better talent or efficiency wise. It's just at that point, it's just adapting. It's not really getting better. But
Yeah.
I'm sure, it's impossible to say now who the busts are going to be. I mean, we have ideas. McCarthy, Knicks. We'll see what happens to Penix, but it's just a law. When there's that many guys taken in the first round or first 2 rounds, they're not all going to be good. So
Yeah. Yeah.
Plus, I mean, the last time Washington drafted a Heisman winner second overall, that didn't seem to work out for them. That was RG3.
it didn't.
You're right.
Even though he was good.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It did until it didn't, but
Yeah. If he avoided his injuries, man, he could have went longer. And who knows?
I'm hoping the same thing doesn't happen to Jaden Daniels.
Well,
I don't think it will. I think he has a pretty solid. He has a decent offense, decent receivers in
could be worse. Yeah.
and Jahan Dotson, and where did Antonio Gibson go?
To us,
Patriots.
the Patriots.
Patriots.
Mhm.
That's right.
And
does have-
Curtis
yeah.
Samuel went to Buffalo.
Did he really? I didn't know that.
And they still have Terry McLaurin though.
And they have someone say Austin Eckler.
They got Eckler.
They also
Uh,
yeah.
Zach.
But I'm not sure how much that moves me anymore, but I'm sure he'll still be efficient.
I mean, it's a lot better of a situation than Bryce Young entered last year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then they
Yeah.
got Trey McBride, the tight end, who's he's actually pretty good.
Yeah.
And Washington drafted a tight end, Ben Sinnott from Kansas State, I think.
Yeah, Kai Cenat.
Yeah. I would say
yeah.
pretty easily the two best quarterback situations are Caleb and McCarthy.
Yeah,
Probably.
I mean, the Bears, even though they did trade Justin Fields, which it's kind of questionable in my opinion, but I'm okay with it.
Oh, absolutely.
They absolutely built their offense, even though their defense could use some help. Like outside of like Jalen Johnson, they got who else do they have?
I might sound dumb. Do they still have Khalil Mack?
No, he's in LA, I think. Chargers.
Oh, what am I thinking? Yeah. No, that happened like 2 years ago.
Yeah, that was
Okay. I'm a little bit behind.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got Khalil Mack. I think they also have Sean Taylor.
Yeah, but so just looking at the alternative, let's say they didn't move Justin Fields. First of all, they would have been out a 6th-round pick.
Yeah.
But other than that, so let's say they stick there.
They probably would have
been
drafted Marvin
Yeah, it
Harrison
would have been
Jr.
Justin Fields, Keenan Allen, whoever they already had, Marvin Harrison Jr., Rome Odunze, or somebody else there if they want.
If they would have did, if
DJ
their
Moore.
if their two first round picks would have been Harrison Jr., then Rome Odunze, holy
Yeah.
shit. That would have been
Unfair.
insane.
Odunze would have been their wide receiver 4 this year because they have DJ Moore as well.
Dude, yeah. But yeah,
It's
that
just-
wide receiver trio is filthy. It's gonna be like the 2023-24 Pittsburgh Penguins. They'll score a lot, but they'll also give up a lot of points.
Yeah.
That-
Well, that's nothing Caleb Williams isn't used to.
That's true. Yeah.
That was USC in a nutshell, basically. They scored like 50 points a game, but they let up like 50 points a game.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
which is good. I mean, you want your quarterback to be prepared for the situation he's walking into. And I do think look, I like Justin Fields, but with a guy like that, you get a guy like that.
Yeah. I mean, Caleb Williams is a generational talent, and I don't think he's going to be a bust. I think he's actually going to be an elite quarterback in the league.
Yeah.
That's honestly might be a hot take. A lot of people are saying Caleb Williams isn't even the best quarterback in this past draft. Which
I mean,
that,
it's possible.
it is, but like just
A lot of that has to do with situations and staffs. It's you can't. It's too soon to say that.
Yeah, I mean, I would say I put Drake May ahead of Jaden Daniels. I think Jaden Daniels is kind of overrated.
I preferred May over Daniels.
Doesn't mean
it worked out.
Daniels.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean Daniels isn't good. Daniels is very good. He's a very good runner, and he could throw on the run very well.
Yeah.
He was my QB3. Yeah.
Yeah.
My concerns about Daniels were, and I forget if I've said anything about this. He's a small guy. He's a light guy. When he gets hit hard.
Yeah.
And there's sometimes where it doesn't look like he knows what to do. Sometimes he doesn't go through his progressions all that efficiently. But Drake May had some of the same problems too. There were a couple times over the past year or two where Drake May, he got hit in the pocket and then he let up an interception out of that hit, and a couple other times where I don't know, but he's a better build, and there were so many throws that only a handful of guys, at least in college, could have made. And there was literally at one point in the year where in the same weekend, or maybe a week or so apart, because the Mac one happened first. It was a Colts game, basically the end of Mac's Patriots career, where off his back foot, Mac threw uh, a curve. Mac threw just duck to a defender when he had a wide open tight end in the end zone,
Mhm.
and it was awful. And I just couldn't believe what I was seeing because that's just what happens when a guy's confidence is completely destroyed, where he forgets how to play the sport. And in the same weekend, or a week later, Drake May made the same throw beautifully to a contested receiver in the end zone. It was beautiful, and that was when everybody basically decided, okay, it's time for Drake May, and luckily it worked out.
Yeah. The thing is with that, you said that they made pretty much the exact same throw, made the exact same decision. The thing is,
Yeah,
if you're a quarterback, you have to know your skill set, you know. I and Drake May can make that throw, and not to shit on Mac Jones,
please do.
he may not be able to make that throw.
No,
Uh,
not at that stage.
yeah, especially like you said in the NFL with his confidence shattered, you know. But yeah, I think Drake May is
Yeah,
a much better quarterback than Mac Jones was
yeah.
slash is. And I think he's going to be at the very least serviceable for the Packers, and that's really all you
For
could
the
ask.
Packers,
Not the Packers, the Patriots. So sorry,
what did I miss?
my bad. No, but yeah, and the Steelers are in the same exact situation. They just need serviceable quarterback play. I mean, you saw it with Mason Rudolph. We were putting up 30 points a game on the road against Seattle. You know,
Yeah,
not
I
saying
watched it.
Seattle's,
That's crazy.
not saying their defense is anything out of this world, but like that's a tough place to play. And with
Yes.
Mason Rudolph, like now we got Russell Wilson, who say what you want. He threw 26 touchdowns to 8 picks last year. Imagine if Kenny Pickett did that. Imagine if Mason Rudolph did that. I could not, yeah. So, not to make it about me, go in there and make it about you.
No, I just got finished making it about me, so it's fine.
That's all good.
Yeah, and then really just a couple other interesting picks. Obviously, Michael Penix. I mean,
Uh, I,
that's a GM who won't last long.
yeah, I mean, I really don't know what you're thinking. I mean, that
It's
offense is fine. I like Kirk Cousins a lot. Well,
Mhm.
I like Drake London. I think Kyle Pitts is a tad overrated, but still a good tight end. But dude, look at their defense. AJ Terrell, that that might be it.
They have the least sacks in the league like 3 years in a row.
Yeah, they have one of the
They did
worst.
not press that at all.
They have one of the worst, if not the worst, front seven.
The worst,
Yeah,
probably.
probably the worst, dude. And Dallas Turner was right there, who is an absolute stud. He's like he reminds me so much of Will Anderson, and not just because he went to Alabama, but dude, I don't know how you pass on Dallas Turner or literally anybody else and take
Yeah.
Penix. Yeah,
It's one thing if you already had a year with Kirk and he was just okay and it didn't work, and Penix is 22. But when he's going on 24 and you just gave 9 digits to Kirk Cousins, who who was looking like an MVP before he got hurt last year, it does not make sense.
yeah,
And I'm not going to say that it won't. There is a universe where it works out because look at some of these guys like, uh, well, yes, but I mean like Jimmy Garoppolo and Derek Carr, who they the even Russell Wilson, even though that was more of a situation thing, those franchises committed 9 digits to these guys, and it immediately looked like a bad decision. I don't think Kirk Cousins is that at all, but let's just say that's what it turns out to be, and then that process gets expedited a little bit, and Michael Penix sees the field in a year or two, but that's not what you want. If you really think that's a possibility, then take something to help Kirk Cousins. It just in no way makes sense.
completely agree. And like Kirk Cousins, even though he did come off his ACL tear, before that, he looked like an MVP candidate.
He
He
did,
was
yes.
unreal that first half of the season with the Vikings. And dude, if you think about it, the Falcons, if you would have went into this draft and ranked teams based on how badly they need a quarterback, the Falcons would be bottom five. I
Yeah.
mean, outside of like the franchise guys like Mahomes, Burrow, Allen,
Yeah.
all
Mhm.
those guys, they may have been like in the 20s. Like it would have made more sense for the Patriots to draft two quarterbacks You know, it would have made more sense for the Panthers to go and draft a quarterback, the Steelers to go.
Even the Steelers, yeah.
But especially at pick 8, bro. Like I feel like you could have got Penix. Nah, I wouldn't say that because the Raiders.
Yeah, and I think he was going Broncos at the latest, but it does not make it make sense.
Yeah, it's not so much the where he was drafted, which I still think it's a reach.
A little bit.
It's the team, like and I'm so glad the Falcons fans were like, what the I'm so glad nobody hyped it up. So
Yeah,
Adam,
they were not happy.
Adam, I'm sure you were ecstatic to see that.
Oh, I was. In fact,
you were like,
I was a little mad at first because I love
distraught
Penix,
to start.
and I was like, oh, he's really going there. But then I was like, okay, never mind. It's funny. But when they said QB at first in the draft, I was like, oh my God, please take JJ McCarthy.
Oh my God.
Praying for it to be McCarthy. Because then he would have been so easy to root against.
Yeah.
But
You have no idea how happy I would have been if like the Browns took Penix if they were in that situation. Or the Browns if they took McCarthy. Oh, I would have.
I mean, how many years are the Browns still paying Watson?
At least
This was the last year. So they have a first round
really?
pick next year.
Seriously?
Yeah, they have a first round pick next year.
Oh, no, I mean like his contract.
At
least 2 or 3 years, right?
Yeah, at least 2-3 years. I think
They
it
had
was
to give him 5, like 2 years ago.
I think it might have been a 5-year extension, so they may have him longer because that Texans contract may be.
I'll look at him.
I mean, part of me still wonders if that will ever work out because of the talent that he had in Houston. But
I was about to say, just because he has that many years left doesn't mean he'll be the Browns quarterback for that many years.
correct, yeah.
But which I really hope he is because the guy he sucks and he's a horrible person.
Yeah, so we were wrong. He has 4 years left.
Well, cool. I'm cool with that. He sucks.
Well, his extension just kicks in this year as the first year of it.
Yeah.
Well, I guess maybe not, but the first year of the big money. So 2022, he made 9 mil, 2023, 19 mil. This year the next 3 years, he makes $63 million.
That is so funny.
And then makes 8 million in 2027, and then he's unrestricted. Well, I guess after the 2027 season. So they've got 4 years left.
That's.
I mean, maybe they can offload that when he's down to 8 million, but nobody's trading for him while he's making 63 million. So you at least have 3 years left.
What free agents are the Browns going to sign? They'll have no money. $63 million for Deshaun Watson.
Better nail the draft.
Yeah, you better. I mean,
well, as you would say, you hope they don't.
well, yeah. I mean, for their sake, they better. But like, it's funny, The worst part about that is that a horrible person is making that much money. But
Yeah.
But
who, let me remind you guys, is only suspended 11 games, and people like Calvin Ridley were suspended an entire year for gambling.
Yeah, Tom Brady, not to defend the Patriots because I'm not a Patriot fan, but to defend Luke, Tom Brady had reasonable. It was what even was it? Reasonable.
Was it the Deflategate thing you're thinking of?
Yeah, he talked about during like the roast of Tom Brady.
Yeah.
There was like reasonable suspicion that Tom Brady would have known that the footballs were being deflated, and he got suspended like 6 games.
4 games.
4 games. Well, I think it was 6, and he worked it down to 4.
That's right. But still,
and Jimmy Garoppolo went 4-0 and we won the Super Bowl that year. So
that is sick. I gotta say that's pretty sick.
So, yeah. What was I gonna say about that? Oh, my favorite part about that Deflategate game was we ran on the Colts for like 250 yards. Deflated ball, fully inflated ball. Stop the run or don't complain.
Yeah. Was that the AFC Championship?
It was.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that was the Andrew Luck days. Man.
Yeah. Until he said, I'm not doing this anymore.
Said I'm out.
Yeah. Have you guys seen the video of OJ Simpson?
Yes. Yeah.
Like, hey, good luck. I just drafted you
What
to my fantasy team, and you want
what you
to.
don't know is that that was my very first year of playing fantasy football, and I didn't pay attention. I drafted it and I never touched it again.
Yeah.
But I happened to draft Andrew Luck
Oh man.
too. So
I tell you
I
what, he was a good quarterback. I think he was like at least top 8 in the league at the
oh
time.
yeah, I mean he went out on top. That's why it didn't make any sense, but that's
Yeah.
just a completely different conversation.
Yeah, and then the Colts have been in quarterback purgatory ever since. Hopefully
It-
not
it-
anymore with
yeah, I
Richard.
think they got something figured out, but
Yeah, I like Anthony Richardson. He's good. But
so do I. Mhm.
Well, so did you guys, outside of your favorite teams, what was your favorite first round pick? I mean, the answer is easy for me, but or favorite
who's
draft
that?
pick doesn't have to be first round.
I I will say this, Adam. I really like the Spencer Rattler fit in New Orleans.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean,
I
Carr is
really like
definitely
that
not
fit.
long term.
I think he can see the field much sooner than people expect. And I really think he can be a good quarterback. He can be a starting quarterback in the NFL.
I don't know if I'll say next year. I mean, I feel like unless he's hurt, Carr will be the guy next year. But
I think he can see the field next year
yeah, that could happen. I mean, at least in 2025 for sure.
because those failed attempts at veteran signings that I mentioned before, Russell Wilson, the Broncos didn't hesitate to cut ties. Vegas, they didn't hesitate to cut ties with Jimmy G. So I think the Saints are going to finally get the memo that you better get better, or the only thing you have to do is get better. And they've been in salary cap hell for a decade now, so they might just want to get it over with and cut ties with Derek Carr if he's trash this year. And I like him, but I really think it could happen because I really think that Spencer Rattler is good there.
Yeah.
That would probably be my favorite non-Patriots pick.
Who else do they have at QB? Am I missing something?
I don't know. Do they still have Taysom Hill?
They had
Guess.
Ian Book for a while. Then they
Yeah.
quarterback. I
Well,
don't
they
know.
still have Taysom Hill because he announced a pick, but I guess that's it.
Damn.
I mean, my favorite first round pick, probably besides our favorite teams, was Marvin Harrison Jr., no
Oh,
doubt.
for sure. Absolutely.
My favorite later pick, besides our teams, might have been Cade Stover, and it was even better when it was announced by Sketch for the Houston Texans.
Yeah.
That was amazing.
Yeah, that is funny.
And it's great because I mean, I guess they don't badly need a tight end, but you've got the connection with CJ Stroud, college connection. So
Yeah.
I would have loved Carolina to take Stover. That's probably the guy I wanted us to take starting day 4, but I'm fine with Jatavion Sanders. I think he may have a higher ceiling anyway.
Where did he go to school?
Sanders, Texas.
Texas. Okay. Nice.
So yeah, we have our connection with our running back too that we drafted.
Yeah.
Went there.
My favorite pick. It's not a first round pick. It's actually a third round pick. Pick 83 by the Rams, who I think this guy's an absolute steal.
Oh, yeah, I know you're
Blake
gonna say.
Corum.
Yeah.
Blake Corum is an absolute stud. He went to Michigan. And I hate Michigan, but I love this guy.
I
He-
agree with you.
He is an absolute beast, and he tore up the Big Ten. This guy's going to be, he's going to be so good for the Rams. Not what did I say? The Kieran Williams and Blake Corum tandem is going to be filthy. Yeah, just keep an eye out for Blake Corum. That guy's an absolute tank.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. One more pick came to mind for me is the fact that I heard about this, that in the first round, the Eagles were going to take Cooper DeJean, and then what's his name? Quinion Mitchell fell to them. And then they still got Cooper DeJean in like the second round, the late second round.
Yeah.
I think that was an excellent pick. I don't know why Cooper DeJean fell.
Yeah.
I mean, I have some ideas that I just will leave up to speculation.
I think I can.
But yeah,
I think
We get it.
but I think that's a great pick for the Eagles. Now to
Yeah.
get both of those guys, that's great for their defense.
Absolutely.
they just hope they work out, which I think they will. But like
I think they will.
your first 2 picks being corner, you really never see that. But
Yeah, well, I think the Lions did that too.
did they really?
Like Terran Arnold and who else?
Ennis Rakestraw, I think.
Rakestraw, yeah.
Very. He might not have been their first pick right after Arnold, but Actually, no, I think he was. Yeah, I think he was.
They just got 2 corners.
They did. And they released Cam Sutton, which apparently I've heard speculation. Dante, I'm curious your thoughts about this. So I heard he was in Pittsburgh pre-draft, and now he's back post-draft making another visit. What would you think about a possible Cam Sutton reunion?
Um, if he figures out all of his legal stuff, if it is all figured out, I'd be cool with it. I mean, he wasn't outstanding in Detroit, but that's also a different defensive system. Um, yeah, I don't think he'd be our CB2. I still think that's Dante Jackson.
Yeah.
But like for CB3, I would take Cam Sutton back if it's a cheap deal. Yeah.
CB1 JPJ, I assume.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I don't know how you give it to anybody else after the year he had last year. Defensive rookie of the year finalist.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously wasn't going to win it. I mean, it's Will Anderson, but like, um, that's still you know a valid thing to bring up. So, yeah, I think BJ is going to have a good year.
I did see, I guess, the Panthers picked up JC Horn's 5th-year option, which is good. When he's on the field, he's a beast. It's just when he's on the field.
Yeah, true.
Gotta keep that guy healthy because he is like our cornerback room right now. Because we traded Dante Jackson, Jeremy Chin left. I mean, there's been rumblings and rumors that Stephon Gilmore could come back. I'd love that, but we just got to get a deal done. I've seen there's a really good chance that it could happen, but if we can bring him back, even if it's for 1 year, I think that'd be huge.
Yeah.
Reunite him with Jadavi and Clowney from their days at South Carolina.
Yeah.
That'd be a pickup.
Speaking of picking up 5th-year options, this offseason, the Patriots finally ended the trend of there hadn't been a single first-round pick that we had re-signed since before I was in high school. We re-signed Kyle Duggar to a 4-year deal, which was great, but we did not pick up his 5th option before doing that. So we still haven't picked up any first-round picks, 5th option since before I was in high school. So let's just hope that ends after this first-round picks, after this year's first round gets their time to play.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's pretty good.
Yeah, pretty much.
Wrap things we talked about. We all are pretty happy with our drafts.
Absolutely.
Claim. I think GP is pretty happy behind you.
Shit. Cookie bear.
Yeah.
Big year coming for him.
Oh,
Receiver 1.
if he doesn't get over 100 targets this year, or 100 catches rather, I think he'll have a 1,000-yard season. But
did he last year?
Yeah, on only 55 catches, he had over 1,000 yards.
Yeah, if he can get it last year, I think this year he's got it. I mean, I know there's the whole thing with Arthur Smith ignoring his top targets, but I mean, George Pickens is the #1 guy, and Arthur Smith, the OC, was a lot better than Arthur Smith, the head coach.
Yeah, you saw in Tennessee, took him to an AFC championship.
Yeah, AJ Brown.
AJ Brown had a killer year. Derrick Henry had a monster year. So I expect that to be like the Najee Harris role and the GP role. And then like here's a name, Jonnu Smith role will be Pat Freiermuth, which that's the only time I would want Pat Freiermuth to be like Jonnu Smith. But yeah.
Take the word for that one.
So speaking of Najee, what do you think about the 5th-year option getting declined?
I think I understand it. I would have picked it up if I was running things, but the logic makes sense. Wanting to see how he performs in a new offense, which I think he'll be good. But excuse me. Yeah, I think this may be one of his best years coming up. He seems like he's, shredding some weight, so maybe he could boost his speed a little bit. I think the Harrison Warren tandem is going to be solid once again this year, and I just can't wait for that. Jalen Warren, if he keeps it up, he'll back for the future. Which you guys know how I feel about him.
Hey, it's never a bad thing to have 2 good running backs.
No.
It's a lot. especially if one of them gets hurt. You've got someone else you can depend on.
Yeah. Yeah. And you see what happens to teams like the Ravens, who have been like the best running teams. And whenever you don't have running back depth, you just sign guys like Devontae Freeman,
Mark
and
Ingram.
Mark Ingram. Who else did they get? Le'Veon Bell. Yeah.
And at
Then
least Steelers have a good third running back too, Cordell Patterson.
CP.
Solid for an RB3.
And a kick returner with these new rules, that's good.
Yeah, the best number 84 in Steelers history.
Unless, they make Justin Fields return kicks.
I love Jalen Warren, but why would he even bring that up? If that is true, which I don't think it is, I don't think we'll have Justin Fields returning kicks. I think we'll protect him as a quarterback in the future. And I don't want to see him return kicks like at all.
Yeah, I don't think it's a good idea.
Yeah.
And I don't think it'll happen. But if
Gotta keep that healthy.
I bought the Pittsburgh Steelers kick returner jersey, jeez, man.
Fields kick returner. Yeah.
Justin Fields QB/KR.
And
It's
the funny thing is about it, he'd still be better than Gunnar Olszewski.
Probably.
And
yeah.
who else was there? Ryan Switzer.
I remember Switzer.
Maybe not my goat, Steven Sims, but definitely Olszewski and Switzer.
It's like on Madden when you change a quarterback's position to punter just so they're easier to trade for.
That you could do that?
Yeah, you didn't know that? If you're
I
doing
didn't know that. What?
if you're doing franchise and you want to trade for Patrick Mahomes, just change him to a punter. His overall drops to like a 50, and you could trade his 7th-round pick for him,
And then
just
move him back to quarterback.
Yeah,
That's so funny.
yeah, we do that more times than we'd like to admit.
Oh my gosh.
That's
Yeah.
like their version of trade override. It's
Yeah.
easy.
Yeah, just like force trade.
Yeah. So we might need to change the title of this video to draft recap and whatever came to mind.
Yeah, really.
We've gone off topic a little
I like
bit.
to get
but
off topic.
This has been a good episode.
It's a miscellaneous.
So I did hear schedule release next Wednesday at 8 p.m.
Yep.
I'm gonna need to catch up later that day because Luke and I will actually be at the NF concert.
Oh, nice. That's fun.
Yes, sir. I'm excited.
Is that at PG?
It is. Yeah.
You guys have good seats?
I
Like,
think
sure.
we're like 100 somewhere.
Okay.
I don't know. I bought them in like October when I heard they were going on sale. Like
Yeah.
literally the first second I could buy them, I bought them.
I mean,
So-
you remember how fast we bought tickets whenever Logic and Wiz tickets went on
Yeah.
sale, like the day of, and it
Right.
wasn't until like 6 months later. But
Here, I
our seats were
in
good.
my Apple Watch. Yeah. Section 110 row G.
Okay, so that's lower bowl. So
Yeah.
so that's solid.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm looking forward to it. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So that's next Wednesday, you said.
Yes, sir. Week from today.
It's a blast. I'll be getting tattooed that day. So
Nice.
yeah, that'll fill up that space.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I love it, man.
Should be fun.
Good
Great.
stuff.
I think that does it.
Yeah.
I think that wraps it up.
All right.
All right. We will be back soon. We're not gonna ignore y'all the whole off season.
And I know I've teased this like 3 episodes in a row now, but we do have actual plans.
We do have plans.
Exciting. And I put it on the back burner, but to you, Dante and Adam, I am going to address that as soon as possible now that we're in summer, and I'm going to text you guys about it, and I'm excited. And I have an idea already for something, and yeah, hopefully it works out. So.
GP.
Me,
I
wait,
just see the picture behind you.
me waiting for the big WG news. By aging.
We're still waiting for that big Steelers news from the other day, apparently.
Big
Yeah.
Steelers, big WG news. That
Yeah.
we've been teasing for 2 months, but
Yeah,
it's all
even though
good.
I've been teasing it since even though I've been teasing it since back when Mac Jones was a Patriot.
Oh man, it's been that long.
But
It
yeah,
happened.
I'll have something for you next episode. So
Cool.
reasons to be excited for all of us. Good episode.
Yeah.
All right. Adam,
Dante.
And Luke.
we'll catch y'all next time. Thank you.
Peace.